Hi guys, welcome back. It's Nancy and we are going to talk about the August 2021 Glimmer Kit of the Month from Spellbinders. Now I just got done making these beautiful cards with the clear stamp of the month, and I was talking about how everything coordinated, and I wanted to show you guys the Glimmer Kit of the month and how beautiful it is. So you actually get the same stamp set as a glimmer hot foil, and I'm going to show you how cool it is to combine both of these kits together. So you have that outline. There's a longer cluster of florals here. The sentiment says, have a great day. It matches the font with the other two, and it comes with these two little hexagon dies. Now they are dies. Well, I guess it's not hexagon, it's a diamond, right? So they are dies, so they're meant to cut, but this little thin one I think we'll be able to hot foil with this one. So we're going to try a little experiment with that one. I think we will be able to hot foil, but I believe that these are both cutting dies, but maybe this one is a hot foil. We'll have to check it out. And the beautiful color of foil you get with the August kit is this lovely, lovely hot pink. It is called Bright Pink. And this is specifically designed for the Glimmer Hot Foil system. So you can't use toner foils. You must use the Glimmer Hot Foil systems. So I already have my Glimmer machine warming up on the side here. And what you do is you turn the machine on the top. And then you press this platform into this docking station. We want to make sure that's nice and tight. The power button comes on, you're going to turn it, it's all going to light up, and then when this is nice and hot, this will turn green. Now, I have said before in previous videos, I've taped my two plates together, so I use some heat safe tape and just tape the plate all the way around, and then I taped it to the platform on this left side, so I have my own little hinge. The paper that I like to use is really inexpensive, good quality paper, which is the hammer mill paper, and again, I'll link everything down below for you. Now, I have a piece here cut down to, this is 100 pound, 5.5 by 4 1/4. And I normally like to just kind of eyeball, like what am I doing here? What is my grid lines here? So usually it's just 2 squares over and then 1 square up or 1 square down. And then I can figure out, okay, how do I want to line this up? So if I go like this, that gives me plenty of room to make sure that I'm straight, and I have a little bit of extra if I need to cut this down. Now our light has just turned green, so we want to make sure we have a piece of foil cut. Now these do have a little clear sticker right there that holds the foil in place, so you just want to slice that with your scissors or your knife and get that off of there. And usually that end piece, if you like to swatch your foils, that's the piece you're going to want to use, because that piece, sometimes that sticker gets in the way. Now we want a piece big enough to cover that corner. So we might be able to get away with this piece. Oh, I cut it a little too thin. Well, let's use it anyway. We'll use it as a practice lineup, and if it doesn't work, we'll switch over something else. Okay, so you generally want your piece of foil to be the same size as your die, your foil stamp. If it's too small and you try to shimmy another piece of foil up against there, it generally won't work. You want to just have it all covered. Now, if you're doing multiple colors, that's a different story. And I'm lining my paper up again with the grid lines that are on the mat. Gonna close that, and it's pretty side down. The pretty side is always down because this foil has an adhesive on it. I'm gonna press the button while we're waiting. So this side of the foil has adhesive on it, and that's how this works, is the adhesive gets hot and the foil gets hot, and so the foil, once this die presses down on the foil, the adhesive gets hot and sticky, and then it sticks to whatever you foil it to. So if you find that your dies are nice and pretty and foiled, it's because you're putting your foil on the wrong way. So remember, this is the glue side. You want that touching the paper. You want the pretty side touching the die. Okay, so pretty side touching the die, glue on the paper. If that happens, 100% acetone will clean your dies off. So basically nail polish remover, but you don't want any conditioners or anything like that in there. This is blinking. Once this is done blinking, we're going to bring in our crank die cutting machine. And I have the Spellbinders Platinum by Fun Stamper's Journey. It's the same die cutting machine. It's just different colors. The Glimmer Kit of the Month is a great value because if you are just starting with hot foiling, boy, you know, hot foiling dies, or hot foiling stamps they're called, they're expensive. They are not cheap. So you get a high quality hot foil stamp / die from Spellbinders. It doesn't cut, but it does work with your hot foiling systems. And to answer your question, yes, if you have other hot foiling systems, it will work in other hot foiling systems as well. Now I've removed my whole platform, and all I'm going to do now is slowly roll it through my platinum. I don't need to add any extra shims at this point. I always like to test it out and see how it does on its own. If I get any kind of underfoiling, then I may choose to add a shim. But right now, I crank it about 3 or 4 times, nice and slow. What this is allowing the foil to do is to be pressed into the die and the paper so that it adheres, and also to cool down. And cooling down process is very important because that's what allows the foil to stick to the paper. But you can do hot foiling on vellum, you can do it on clear acetate, you can do it on cork, you can do it on leather. So you can do hot foiling on almost anything because of the adhesion. All right, so when we go to reveal this, I always like to, and I haven't played with this yet, so this is just our test here, and we'll go through and test these. That is hot. You should be using the pliers, or the hot, what do you call it? The tweezers. Couldn't speak. All right, so let's see what it looks like. All right, that is pretty good. And you can see I didn't need to add any extra shims. I do have a little overfoiling on the inside. That's okay, we can take care of that. Again, this is my test run. So I have that extra piece of foil. I want to see how this guy foils. I want to see if it will foil or if he's just for cutting. So I'm going to place them like that on here. And of course, mix and match your foils. It always looks pretty when you do that. But at this point, we're just doing some testing here to make sure everything looks okay. And, oops, let me turn that foil around. So one of the things that I learned from Yana is the hinge method, where you can actually take a little piece of washi tape. I have this most amazing tape that Spellbinders sells. You can also use that. But I want to do both of these at the same time. And this way, if your foiling doesn't work completely, you can try to run it through a second time. I will be honest with you guys, once I do this kind of little test, it's like, you know, test baking. You tweak your ingredients. Once I do the test and I know that I don't need any extra shims or anything, I really don't usually have to add extra tape or anything. So we're just going to tape that into place and set off the timer to go on there. Now, while that's doing that, we're going to do another one. We're going to add some other colors of foil here. So what would look pretty with the pink? How about, let me see here. You know what? Black. Black is always underestimated when it comes to foiling. So I'm going to show you guys the advantages to foiling in black. Especially with this cool set. That is almost done blinking. I'm going to cut a piece of black while we're waiting. Actually, work. All right, it is done blinking. Let's bring our machine in. Pull the whole platform off. Take our time. By the way, if you have a squeaky machine like I had, spray a little WD-40 on the handle. It does wonders. So let me get this one all ready. So I'm going to make sure that I have this here. Oops. See that? I almost foiled my die. That'd have been a good mistake for me to make. Okay, let's plug that back in and let that warm up. And we'll reveal what this looks like. So what this hinge method does is it holds your dies and your foils in place so you can check them. So you can see that I have foiled that. That actually looks pretty good, so I don't need that. And I'm going to test this now and see if I can cut that out. Save that little piece of tape there. So we have this, which is, you can also foil this. Anything with a straight edge you can foil. So we can literally go back in with another color and foil this again. But I believe that's what it was designed for, is this is your foiling die and that is your die cutting die. So let's run that through our die cutting system. Okay guys, so I did that off camera, but I discovered some things. So I was right. The larger one is a die cut. The smaller one is for foiling. I did run the smaller one through my die cutting machine, but it's much thicker. So the machine did not like that one. So although you can die cut with it, I do not recommend it. Use this one as die cutting and the inner one for foiling only. I don't want you guys to destroy your machines or plates or anything like that. So the larger one is for die cutting. The smaller one is for foiling, okay? And then the rest of these are all for foiling. All right, so the other dies are done hot foiling, and we did those in black. So let's pull those out. And what I want to show you guys here is how you can coordinate the hot foiling and the stamping together. This is what's really cool about this, is you do get your money's worth with these kits because they coordinate. You can use them together. Whether you are just into foiling or just into stamping, it's fine. But if you get both of them, it's double the fun, right? Okay, so here I use black foil, and a lot of people say, well, why would you use black foil? Black foil is very useful because it does give that elegant outline. So there you can see it is perfectly foiled. Now that one's a little underfoiled, but that's okay. A little under and a little over. So I take my little mono sand eraser, and any place where I have a little bit of extra foiling, it'll just erase right off. Okay. But this stamp set has solid images that coordinate with this. So I can now take this flower Now it's only going to match up with this one. I don't think those stamps match up with this guy. Pretty sure they don't. I think it's just this one here. Oh, almost dropped it. So now I can stamp right over the foiling and get all of those beautiful colors stamped on there. says picked raspberry. It's a little darker than I wanted. That's okay. Squeezed lemonade for this one. So all of these stamps coordinate just like with the stamp set, but you have that beautiful foiling. And all you do is once your ink is dried, you take a soft cloth and you kind of wipe up where that foil is on, or the ink is on top of the foil, and it will come right out. So you'll have this shiny outline from the foiling, but you'll have the beautiful colors from the stamping. Always foil first, stamp second. Now that, again, is just for the small stamp, hot foil stamp. Don't know if there's going to be a coordinating stamp set for those. Okay, so now I've shown you how the stamp of the month, clear stamp of the month, which by the way, here it is. It says, life is better with you, made with love, a gift for you. How all of these stamps coordinate with that hot foil stamp from the Glimmer kit of the month. And again, you get that beautiful bright pink foil to come with it. I will link all of the other things that I used, including the Distress Oxide inks, the black foil, the Glimmer system itself. We can easily cut this out and then add the sentiment, which we hot foiled and cut out. So this kit really has a lot of opportunities here. Where is the card that I made earlier that I boo-booed the stamping? So even this one, my stamp got a little bit too much ink on it. Look at how I can cover that up and fix it. And no one's gonna know. And somebody's gonna get this and say, oh, that's so pretty. How did you do that foiling on there? So go check those out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, post them down below. Again, I will link everything for you. Again, it is the Spellbinders August Clear Stamp of the Month and the Spellbinders August Glimmer Stamp of the Month. And again, you get 4 hot foil stamps. So again, your hot foil stamps are designed for hot foiling. They're flat. They do not cut. So the 2 flowers, the sentiment, and the smaller, it is a hexagon, right? 6 shapes. Yeah, so hexagon there. And then the larger one, the one that is more flat, the one that says Spellbinders on it, that is your cutting die. So you get 4 hot foil stamps and 1 cutting die. So very cool. Take a look at that. These are all going to be available on August 1st for you. If you have any questions, post them down below. I'll link everything. And again, all you need to do once this is all dry is we're going to take our little rag. We're going to wipe off all that extra ink. Oops, it wasn't completely dry. You want to wait until it's dry. And then we'll have all of that ink off of our flowers. I'm going to fussy cut this. Now, I have not looked to see what the die of the month is, or the small die of the month, but I'm going to assume that they probably coordinate in some way as well. So if you are subscribed to those, you'll have even more to add to your stash. And don't be afraid to experiment with different colors of foil. They really do make it fun. You can stamp or hot foil your flowers in one color, hot foil your sentiments in another color, multicolors. Because I use Distress Oxide inks, I forgot. They take a little bit extra second to dry because they are fusion ink. So they have a little bit of dye, a little bit of pigment. So they take a few seconds extra to dry. And I smeared the ink everywhere. It doesn't look bad, but we'll be able to salvage them. There we go. And now I can foil some more sentiments. I can pop this up, add the foiled sentiment to it, and we have another great card. Look at the difference between just stamping it and foiling it. So much more bold with the foil on there. And then this one, I can color by hand. I can use my pencils. I can use my markers. I can leave it just foiled like this and it still looks fine. So there's a lot of different options, but you can see how that foil just looks really, really good. But I do love that bright pink foil. I think you guys will have a lot of fun with that. You can see that there in the sentiment. And that little bit of overfoiling I have at the bottom. And just take my little mono sand eraser. Look at that. Takes it right away. There you go. There we go. Now all I gotta do is put them on card fronts. Okay? All right, guys. I'm done talking. See you next month. Bye.